General Manager of Iwaki Aquatic, here to tell you about our exciting new LAbREED Zebrafish system. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the LAbREED system and some of its features, functions, and benefits. I'll start with the pumping system here. We have two pumps. First, in the zebrafish world, these pumps originally designed for the medical industry where reliability, quietness, and low vibration are imperative. These pumps are game changers. The pumps are completely enclosed to protect against any splash or drips that you might encounter servicing your system. The pumps are variable speed controlled and will automatically increase their output to maintain constant flow to the zebrafish tanks as the filters begin to accumulate debris. The two pumps are plumbed in line, so in the unlikely event that one goes down, the second pump can still maintain system flow. After the pump, we have the filtration. We have a 50 micron cartridge filter. We have a clear filter housing here, and we expect you'll get a roughly 1 month interval on service life. After the sediment filter, we have a carbon chamber basket that takes about 600 grams of carbon, a 4mm pellet that goes inside a mesh bag, which goes inside the chamber and gets screwed back in there. We change both of these filters on a 1 month interval. After we get through the sediment carbon filters, we move over to UV, which is the last step before it goes back to the fish tanks. Right here we have our stainless steel UV unit that produces 110 millijoules at end of lamp life. Slightly different if you get a 5 shelf or a 6 shelf rack, depending on the volume of water. So after the UV, water is passing on to the fish tanks, and we'll show you a little bit more about those in a separate segment. Our tanks have been designed to be easily removed from the rack, and let me show you how. All right, here we have a full 2-liter tank going right back onto the rack. Nice and easy. Valve back on, and you're good to go. All right, now we're going to remove a 4.5-liter tank and put it back. Again, here we have tall spacing, so we have room to decant more water off. So turn off your flow, tip your tank up a little bit. You can decant as much or as little as you like. Grab your tank, off she comes. All right. So here we have a terribly heavy 9-liter tank. It's not that bad, it's still manageable. You can see it's a sturdy tank, it doesn't flex much at all. Going to go ahead and tip it up a little bit, slide it in, over the rails, back into the trough, back into action. Hi, I'm excited to show you our new zebrafish tank product line. This is our new LAbREED 2-liter tank. It has some innovative features, and I'll run you through them. We have a locking lid for positive placement. Little tab in the back, little tab in the front, locks it in so that you always get your lid in the right spot. This tank was designed to be a little smaller and easier to work with so that you can grab it with one hand and remove it from the rack. We fit 16 of these on a shelf for 96 on a 6-shelf rack. We also have on inside here, we have 2 spots for Larval Baffles. We have Larval Baffles of 400, 700, and 1000 microns. The thought between having 2 baffles in front of the adult baffle is to be able to remove a baffle for cleaning, drop a new one in, take the old one out without having to lose any fish, any larvae, and the 3 different sizes. When you take those out, now you're kind of running in adult mode. This is our adult baffle here, which is molded polycarbonate. And by the way, all these tank parts, the adult baffle, the tank, and the lid are polycarbonate. We can make them in polysulfone, but the standard is polycarbonate. This is the adult baffle that we spent quite a lot of time on, flow patterning, modeling the best removal characteristics of the tank, the baffle, a little bit of a slope as the tank sits on the rack as well to drive all the solids to the rear. This baby just drops right in there. There you have it. You've got a 2mm gap down at the bottom, a tube that runs bottom to top, and then an overflow weir at the top. We also spent a good bit of time on the rear of this spout to make a nice soft water flow pattern into the drain gutter. So there you have the 2-liter tank. This is what we expect the majority of labs will use as their bulk number tank. And we expect normally a lot of labs go 75–80% of this tank on their system. All right. Next we have the 4.5-liter tank, and these volumes are net volumes. The 2-liter tank is net 2. This is net 4.5. Similar design, basically double the width of the 2-liter, and Wellmatic, the 9-liter, is triple the width. A couple things to note on the lid here. We have a little raised area. We wanted to increase the distance between the water level and a possible escape point. As zebrafish are jumpers, we actually have 1.5 inch space between the water level and these holes. The front hole is the feed hole. The rear hole is the water inlet hole. And the idea was to be able to come in with a squirt bottle, so we have a front entrance here and a top entrance here for different feeding applications, hand feeders, squeeze bottles, you name it. And the lid design is the same throughout the LAbREED tank family, 2-liter, 4.5, and 9-liter. To the big tank. As you can see, we have a ton of surface area on these Larval Baffles. That's one of the key designs, so that you don't have to replace them very often. This is a huge amount of surface area. This is the 400 micron. They're all color coded. And I should say that these all components are high temp cage wash or autoclavable. This is made with special materials to be able to take 250 Fahrenheit steam autoclave and not break down over time. So those drop in there just as they do with the others. Obviously a much larger and proportional adult baffle for the size of the tank. It drops into the back. We've put about 3 years of design work into these tanks, trying to perfect every detail, talking to the community about what's best, what everybody likes, trying to meet everybody's needs. You can't meet everyone's needs, so you try the 80-20 rule when it comes to this, but the innovative features of the locking lid, the improved baffle design, and the overall fit and function and quality of the tanks, you'll see, is exceptional. As water drains out of the rear of the tanks, it reports to a rear drainage manifold that's horizontal, which then reports to a vertical drain manifold, and then down to our sump tank. All right, let's take a look at our sump tank here. It's broken down into 3 sections. The first section is the mechanical pre-filter. We have a 200 micron bag filter here that is washable and reusable. After our 200 micron bag filter, we have our biofilter media chamber here. We have a moving bed media. This is what it looks like. It's self-cleaning. It's tumbled with air, so you don't have to do anything with it over time. We have an air stone drive in it, 6-inch air stone. And we have a clear viewing window here so that you can see that your air stone, your biomedia are working, and you can check your water level. Now we're going on to the pump intake section of the sump. We have a bunch going on in here, and I'll cover all that. We talked about our dual pumps. We have 2 intakes that are screened off with check valves. We have a mechanical float valve here that is the top up and the 10% water change, new water addition. We have a return from the sensor cell, your pH and conductivity probes that are getting the side loop of flow, and this returns back here, directed away from everything. We have a recirculation valve so that if you don't want to send a lot of flow up to the tanks or adjust your pump speed, you can just go ahead and bring more flow back to your sump here instead of going to your fish tanks. And on top here we have the level sensor cord This is a pressure sensor. We talked about that a little bit before, but that's measuring the water level and then shutting down the pump on low water level. And then we have our pH. We went with purple for pH, dosing tube, and the salt dosing tube here. So these are the injection points for your metering pumps. We also have, last but not least, we have a 600 watt titanium heater in the bottom there that is controlled by the controller.
Hi, I'm Chris Collins, Director of Engineering at Iwaki Aquatic, here to talk to you a little bit more about the brain of our system. Sensors and transmitters. On this system, we monitor flow with a paddle wheel flow meter. We monitor pressure with a pressure transducer and temperature of our sump with a probe. We also monitor pH, conductivity, and level on these systems. Not only is the controller capable of controlling the system, but it can monitor and data log as well. The data logging capabilities provide a real-time monitoring solution that can be graphically displayed on the LCD display or downloaded, emailed, or text a file in Excel that can be reviewed to monitor system performance. I hope you learned a little bit more about the Iwaki Aquatic system. Please visit iwakiaquatic.com for more information.